Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at uenradio.com. Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at uenradio.com.
Welcome to the National Safe Child Show, addressing the health, safety, and welfare of all children nationwide, because it shouldn't hurt to be a child. Here is your host, Tammy Stefano.
Hi folks, welcome to the National Safe Child Show. Thank you for joining us today. We have an unbelievable show today, folks. Today we have guests that are subjected to the family court system in California. And as we've discussed many times over, the family courts across the nation that deal with child custody issues have parents that are alleging that they are given an unfair hand. And this unfair hand is dealt when the parent alleges child abuse of some sort by the other parent. So, two parents, child custody, one parent alleges abuse of some sort by the child, and what do? They do what every person in America thinks that they ought to do. They take it to the courts. We have seen probably more than 1,000 cases and thousands of emails, phone calls, letters, packets that are sent that show that there is a real bias. Today we are going to speak to two gentlemen, two dads that are here that are taking a proactive stand because they are saying enough is enough. I don't want to allow this to happen to other children by a certain court commissioner. And that man's name is Commissioner Rocky Crabb. Commissioner Rocky Crabb is out of the Pomona Courthouse in California. He sits on the family court bench. He decides custody cases. From what, I don't know, maybe 50 parents that have come forth so far are saying they have been denied the ability to parent their children. So without further ado, I want to introduce, first, Joshua, why don't you introduce yourself? Speak into the mic, please.
I am Joshua James. I'm a father of a 3-year-old girl who I haven't seen in almost a year.
How old is your daughter?
She's 3. She'll be 4 in September.
And you haven't seen her in almost a year. And before that, did you...
We were very close. We've always been extremely close. She was actually closer with me than her mother. I was there. I took her mother to the sonogram test. I took her to the hospital when she was born. I was there for her, caring for her every day by myself while the mother was going to school and work. On my days off, I was there taking care of her, which was about 4 to 6 days a week myself, feeding her, bathing her, putting her to sleep. But yeah, my daughter and I are extremely close, or we were. We used to be.
Okay. And we're going to speak further about this. And would you please introduce yourself and speak right into the microphone? You can pull the mic up to you.
Hi, my name is
A lot closer. honey.
My name is Janitzio Banuelos. I'm a father of a boy. Actually, I have more kids, but and this in particular is his name is Noé Banuelos. You know, I'm totally in disagreement with the court. I think that every single parent and every single child has the right to have contact, and the court should be looking at the best interest of the child. I honestly think that what this court has done is totally very bad, and it doesn't. His decisions are not in the best interest of the child.
Okay, we're going to get into discussing the specifics. I want you to pull your microphone right up to your mouth.
Correct.
And you can pull it up so you don't have to bend down. It's
Oh,
okay.
great. Great.
There you go.
Great.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you for joining the National Safe Child Show, UBN
you.
Radio. How old is your son?
My son right now is going to be 14 June 6th this month. He will be
Okay.
14.
Once again.
Journey is 3. She'll be 4 in September.
Okay. Both of you gentlemen have had your cases heard in the Pomona courthouse, right?
That's correct.
And by the same Commissioner Rocky Crabb?
Correct.
That's correct.
Okay. And you're on a mission now.
Mm-hmm.
And you're both wearing T-shirts. So
Yes, that's correct.
I want to... John, can we see their T-shirts? Gentlemen, yeah. Stand up and stand right over here. Stand right where you were. Okay, and let's show these T-shirts. And can one of you gentlemen tell me, what does the T-shirt say?
So on the front of his, it's a picture of Rocky Crabb. On the front of his face, it says in red letters, "Remove Rocky Crabb." Below it says, "He must be out now." And on the back is our
Turn
website.
around. Let's...
Okay.
Please turn around. Okay, and the back says, let me see, www.removerockycrab.weebly.com, but it's been changed to .com by the administrators that are running the website. Is that correct?
Yes, it's
Okay.
now removerockycrab.com.
Okay. Boy, you guys are very, very brave.
We've just had enough. I mean, enough is enough. So we have no fear now. We're fighting to see our kids.
When you say enough is enough, Joshua, what does that mean? Why enough is enough? What brought you to this point?
It's just been, like I said before, it's been a year now. What family court system, what justful system says that it's okay for a parent not to see their child for even just a week at a time, much less a year? And my child is my mother's only grandchild, and she hasn't seen her only grandchild in 2 years. So that's why I'm saying enough is enough. I thought it was just me he was doing it to, but then other families have come forward, and so we're all putting a stand, and we've had enough.
Joshua, you said when you contacted National, you said that something is really wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
At first you thought that maybe this gentleman was having a bad day. Maybe it was just you didn't present properly.
Mm-hmm.
But as you kept going through these court proceedings, you came to clearly realize that it wasn't that you weren't presenting properly. It wasn't that it was a bad day. It was that what you told me was he downright hates me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's completely biased. I mean, the evidence is there, the transcripts are there, and then once we all started coming together, all of our cases starting adding up, almost identical cases.
We all meaning?
Mothers and fathers. We have several families now that have come together to start this movement called Remove Rocky Crabb, where we're just coming together. We've started a website, like I said, called removerockycrab.com. It shares testimonies of mothers and fathers. At first, when we came together, we thought it was just against dads. We thought, okay, maybe it's a sexist thing. He just hates fathers. But it's not that. He does it to mothers and fathers.
So it's anybody that goes in saying, Your Honor, I think my child's in danger. He then persecutes them.
Exactly.
And this is something, folks, that I have said time and time again for the 3 years that we've been airing. When a parent in the United States alleges abuse in a child custody court. In California, they are called family courts. In other states, they have different titles, different labels. They are the parent. Statistics show 85% of the time they will lose complete custody or they will be put on supervised visits. That bond with that child is broken 85% of the time. And the abusive parent gains complete custody and walks away scot-free with no repercussions and is shiny. And the safe parent, who thought that the courts were the proper venue to bring their concerns, they are the ones that get broken in more ways than I care to talk about. We've had parents who have taken their own lives. This is a very, very serious problem. And we're going to talk about both cases in detail, somewhat anyway, because we don't have enough time. You haven't seen your child in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Have you spoken with her on the phone?
At one point, he granted me only 1 30-minute phone calls once a week. Audio.
Okay.
I couldn't even Skype with her.
You couldn't? Did you ask to Skype with her?
Oh, yes. I asked to Skype. I asked the commissioner and I asked the mother. I said, I haven't seen our daughter in 9 months. Can I please Skype with her? Can I please get photos of her? She said, no, you can't get any photos and you're not going to Skype with her until you get help.
Okay. You recently had... Was there domestic violence in your relationship? I just want to set something clear, folks, because you know that I'm very leery when it comes to how these cases come to be. Mm. So let's just navigate through some stuff quickly, okay. Gentlemen. Did the mom ever allege that you beat her?
Yes.
She did. Did you ever have a restraining order against you?
No.
Were there any other allegations against you?
She threw everything in the courthouse. She threw drugs, alcohol, that I was never there for our daughter, that I never cared for her or watched after her while she was at work and school, which I had text messages and photos to prove that basically I was just an all-around bad dad. She even went to the point of not only abusing her, but also claiming that I was into child pornography. And that was about the only thing the commissioner didn't buy from her was the child pornography allegation. He said, he said, that's a very, very serious allegation. Show me proof. She didn't have any because obviously it wasn't true. So that's the only thing he dismissed allegation-wise on me was child pornography. But she went to that extent.
Nothing stuck.
Correct.
But recently...
Yes. Recently, she filed a temporary restraining order on me, and this is during the time when I was not allowed to see my daughter. I was just allowed 1 30-minute phone call once a week. She alleged I was posting nude photos of her other daughter, who's now 5 years old, and with those allegations alone, Commissioner Rocky Crabb slapped me with a restraining order.
How many years?
5 years.
Did you ever approach Mom?
No.
Did she allege during that court proceeding that you approached her?
No, she just alleged that I was threatening her via messages that we had to use through this communicator called Our Family Wizard.
Were there any messages on Our Family Wizard, which is a court-approved website, folks, for people that just can't seem to see eye to eye, and it really is for the courts? Were there any messages in Our Family Wizard that were threatening?
No.
There was nothing?
No, they had nothing on me. What they did was they took, her and I both, and I will admit this, we both got into some heated arguments via Our Family Wizard where we kind of said some insulting things, and they took...
Insults?
Correct.
Not threats?
Exactly. They took those insults and they turned them into threats.
How so? Do you have an example for us?
Well, I told her that I was going to, go public with our story and I was going to make her famous. So they took the words, I'm going to make you famous, as if I'm going to kill her.
Famous now means murder, folks. Okay. How many years?
5.
5 years. During that 5 year, restraining order that's just been issued against you.
Mm-hmm.
Is he still allowing you to have your 30-minute phone call once a week?
No, I'm not allowed any communication, contact with my daughter whatsoever.
For 5 years?
Correct. No access to her medical, dental, or health records. She was just admitted to the Kaiser for a urinary tract infection, and I called her, tried to get a hold of her physician, which is the insurance that I pay for, and they said I couldn't even talk to my daughter's
It's your
physician.
insurance,
It's my insurance.
through your employer.
Correct.
And Rocky Crabb said, I'm ordering that you have no access to anything.
Correct. So,
Have you found out that your daughter has been hospitalized before or brought to the hospital for very, odd injuries or odd infections?
Yes.
Certainly for her age, a UTI would be something that would be a little suspicious.
Yes. What makes it so suspicious, too, is that the other child in this, which is not my daughter, but her half-sister, who's 5 years old, has suffered 3 urinary tract infections by the same mother at the same exact age, 3 years old. So if that's not proving neglect, I don't know what is.
Right. You feel that that's neglectful, at the very least, hygienically.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, two toddlers at the same age having UTIs. I know grown adults that have never had a UTI.
Right.
And here we have 2 children at the same age. I mean, I'm like, that's proven neglect. My daughter has suffered, though, other instances from black eyes, bruises, fat lips, lesions, genital blisters. I mean, she's suffered everything, and Crabb's seen it all. He's seen photos of everything, and he still denies that anything's wrong.
Folks, I am going to read periodically throughout this show. I'm going to read some of the transcripts, just some excerpts, because I have now read several of the transcripts, and I can tell you, I've never seen, and I've seen some bad judges, bad commissioners, bad judicial officers. I think, Mr. Crabb, you take the cake. It doesn't matter what evidence that Joshua has brought in before the court, and I'm not talking about flim-flam evidence. I'm talking about real, hard evidence, such as police reports.
Correct.
And folks, you go to make a police report, the police takes that report, there has to be something. They're not taking reports just because you took a drive to the police department. But they don't make the reports for you right away. But what they do is they'll give you a report number. So that any judicial officer or any other law enforcement, if they so need to look that up, you have that number for them. And they did give you that number, correct?
Correct.
And when you went to court, you were looking for the report. It wasn't ready yet, but you had that number.
Correct.
And you presented that to court.
Yes. It was I presented an incident report because the night before our TRO hearing on her, she violated her restraining order. And so I presented the judge the commissioner the next day. I said, Your Honor, here's an incident slip from Burbank Police Department confirming she violated her restraining order yesterday. And his exact words.
So she had a restraining protecting you.
Exactly. And she violated it clearly. And they gave me the incident report because they said we're not going to have the official report until another 3 or 4 business days. To the judge, you'll be okay.
Okay.
So I showed it to the commissioner. His exact words were, he goes.
Okay, so I want to read. It says, the judge says, let me see. Okay. Do you have a question you want to ask? The court says. You are the respondent. Yes, I'd like to ask the court reporter if she can please tell us the statement that the petitioner made before we went to lunch. All right. The court says, Madam Court Reporter, could you please read back the few comments from just before lunch? Okay. Yes, Your Honor. I have a copy here of the call for service to the Burbank Police Department, which states that the informant is getting texts, which I have never texted Katrina, from the father of the child stating that she's crying, has bruises all over her body, and he knows that she is abusing her. Father lost shared custody, but has visitation according to the mother. So the court says, so this would be all hearsay comments that you have on a piece of paper that you represent is from the Burbank Police Department. Correct, you say. It's a confirmation from the Burbank Police Department, not hearsay. It is hearsay, sir. It is entirely hearsay, and it's inadmissible as evidence.
And that was the transcript from when I was presenting him the police report when my daughter came home to me with a black eye. And that's what that was. So that's the black eye incident. So he's done it more than once.
How old was your daughter, was Journey, when she had a black eye?
She was about a year and a half.
I know that when you called me, Joshua, you were desperate. You were petrified. And you said, my daughter can't protect herself. I don't know what to do. You called DCFS, didn't you?
Yes, and they did nothing either. They even refused to even look at my evidence. When I met the social worker the first time, she said, I have nothing to say to you. And I said, I haven't even met you, or you haven't seen my evidence yet. And she goes, I don't care. I already saw your daughter. Your daughter's fine. I go, I have audio to prove to you that she's been cutting her wrist in front of the child. And she said, I don't want to see it.
She's been cutting her wrists, meaning the mother of the child.
Correct. I have the whole incident on audio. And she confirms about 50 to 80 slices on her left arm.
She actually called you once. Folks, I have heard several pieces of audio. And I have to say, Joshua has been one of the nicest guys to an ex that I've ever heard. But one specific time, and I believe it's the audio that you're referencing right now, that I did hear, she called you, and she told you, get here now. I'm going to kill myself. And you said, please, please, please don't do anything. And she said, you better not call the police.
Yeah, she sent me that was the day that we broke up the first time. And I was at home in Burbank. She was at home with the girls in Pomona. And we got into a big argument. And then as soon as we got off the phone, she sends me a text message and said, come get your daughter now. And I knew at that moment something bad was going to happen. Either she was going to try to kill herself or, God forbid, hurt the children. So I called the Pomona Police Department immediately, and I said, please wait there until I get there. My ex has been clinically diagnosed with 2 violent mental disorders, borderline personality disorder and intermittent explosive disorder, and she's suicidal, and I'm scared she's going to either harm herself or the children. Can you please just wait there at least 30 minutes till I get there? Even if you think she's fine, just wait there till I get my daughter. And they said, yes, absolutely. I get to her apartment, and of course they weren't there.
They weren't there.
No.
But she let you in.
Yes, because she wanted me to get my daughter. So I immediately pushed record on my phone, and I walked into her apartment. The place was destroyed. The girls were crying. And
was she bleeding?
Yes, she was. The mother was on the floor, sitting in the corner with a knife to her arm, and about 50, 80 slices on her arm, bleeding.
Folks, I've done some research, and I'm going to tell you why I've done some research. I went to court with Joshua, and I kind of, sort of, met Mom. And it was my intention, knowing Joshua now like I do, and having worked with him for a year now, or a little less, give or take, I knew what kind of a person he was. I mean, this is a man that I say, you're like a mama bear, because he is just, his every moment is, Tammy, what do I do? I mean, it didn't come to this. He's not a combative guy. Neither one of these gentlemen are. They're actually peacekeepers, and they've both tried very hard. And Janitzio, we haven't forgotten. We're going to get into yours in a moment.
No problem.
But when I went to court, there were 2 women there. One was Journey's mom, and the other one was a supervised visitation monitor. I want to call out the supervised visitation monitor. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to send her this show because I have no respect for her or the lies that she has told. Lies about me. you have a restraining order because Mom said you stalked her, you harassed her. Well, folks, Mom actually stalked me. And I have several postings that Mom was on a witch hunt to find out who I was, so much so that she put postings up saying, who is this Tammy Stefano? I want to know where she is, what she does, where she lives. I mean, she just went on and on. I'm not saying it verbatim, but I have the posts, and I'm going to post them after the show. She's a scary woman because when I started investigating, I actually found photos that she has posted with her arms sliced up. And I'm not talking about little slices, folks. I'm talking about slices that look like a Halloween horror. Okay? There are some problems, and whatever happened to this young lady to get to this point, my heart bleeds for her. But here and now, my heart goes out to the young children. I've heard the audio, and these children are in danger, and they are not being protected at all by Commissioner Crabb. At all. As a matter of fact, the only one that's being protected, according to every court transcript, is the mom. Do you think that maybe there's some relationship going on? It seems, though, when you read the transcripts, they're friends.
Yeah.
He's like a father.
Well, I've spoken to at least, and no exaggeration, at least 20 attorneys, and they've all told me the same thing. They all said either he's having personal relations with her or he's got some kind of financial relationship he's paid off, because it's just astounding.
John, can you see this photo? It's a black and white. Folks, Joshua didn't take this photo, and I didn't find this photo. This photo of an arm, if you can make it out, and the arm is right here, and those are all of the slices. This arm is Katrina's arm. And you know how we have this photo, folks? Joshua thinking, what is going on? How could this be? He plays, this commissioner plays defense counsel for her. He objects. He stops Joshua's ability to be able to speak. He can't ask questions. And evidence, even in affidavit format with police report numbers and certification, even from our family wizard, he rejects as hearsay. Yes. So Joshua said, I've got to look more. And this photo, folks, is from Katrina in her divorce, when she was married to her first child's father. And guess what? When I tell you that Joshua's words are a repeat of what we have here, her first case with Mr. James Keefe, her first husband. And you know what James says? I am afraid for my daughter's life. She is suicidal. She is homicidal. This was one of the exhibits, folks, that James Keefe, the ex-husband of Katrina Keefe, admitted. James, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, was put on supervised visits, or almost.
I think almost.
Almost.
I've never met or spoken to him. So.
James was told he was a drug addict by Mom. No evidence. She said, when I went to pick my child up, he was under the influence. Commissioner Crabb, in a family court, not a dependency court, not where the state intervenes, forced this man, which is a violation of his constitutional rights, folks, to have a drug test. Needless to say, the drug test, I have it, and it all was negative. Okay? Mom was reaching for anything. And when it didn't work out, they finally ended up somewhat sharing custody. Commissioner Crabb unethically lied about him knowing Katrina Keefe. And you went before him, you and Katrina, with your custody case. And Joshua was shocked to find out she wasn't even divorced from her husband while she was pregnant, right?
Correct.
While you two were in court, She was also in court. The end results with her husband or ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
2 cases before you, Commissioner Rocky Crabb, and you failed to disclose. We are sending this show to the Judicial Commission, and we are urging you, every Judicial Commission member, to please not allow this man to continue. He has lied, and he is a disgrace to our judiciary. And to allow this, after seeing this film or this show, is such an injustice, and it is such a break with our public's interest and trust with the judicial system. You brought this up to him, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You said, "Sir, how could you?"
I presented copies at the restraining order hearing that he slapped me with, and the first thing I said is, "Your Honor, can you please address the court as to the answer of the recusal that I filed, the motion of 170.4, I think, or 170.3." And
how many times have you asked him to recuse himself based on the severe bias?
Oh, at least probably 5 or 6 times. He's
5 or
denied
6
every
times.
single time.
He doesn't, it's a drop in the bucket for him.
Exactly.
Denied, move on.
So I showed him, I said, "Your Honor, here's proof that you've been presiding over her divorce the same exact time as our case without even informing me, which by law you're supposed to inform me of that information."
Absolutely.
And I said, and not only that, but the ex-husband makes the same exact allegation of the same petitioner that I've been making to this court for 2.5 years, and you sit on that bench and call me a liar, a fabricator, and a perjurer. And yet here's the evidence from the ex-husband himself. Same exact allegations from being suicidal, threatening to kill herself and others.
Yeah.
Parental alienation.
Control.
Yeah.
A big thing in his declaration, folks, and I have his declaration here, was I couldn't do one thing, and he was afraid of her.
Mm-hmm.
People are afraid of her. I am fearful because she is stalking me. She's looking for me. This is not a woman. Listen, has anybody ever alleged that she's taken a knife to them?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
A coworker, right?
Yes, well, I mean, he says it in there that she attacked a female coworker with a knife. When her and I used to work together, she attacked a female coworker at that workplace as well. And then she's attacked me at the same workplace. So she's attacked coworkers before.
She's scary.
Yes.
You've asked the judge. You've walked into the courtroom when you had a court proceeding, when she flipped out and you knew about it, she called you or whatever the scenario was, and you said, "Your Honor, I am begging you because my daughter's life is in danger. Please, the proof is here. Just ask her to lift her shirt."
Mm-hmm.
She is all cut up, Your Honor. She is losing her mind if she's not lost her mind. And what did he say? "I will not."
Yeah, I asked him, I said, "If you don't believe me, Your Honor, have her pull her sleeve up so you can see the cuts on her wrist for yourself." And he said, "No, I will not do that."
"I will not make her
Mm-hmm.
lift her sleeve." All the while, he already knew this young lady in great detail because he had presided over her divorce case with the same exact allegations, and yet he continued for the last 2.5 years to call you, Joshua, a liar, to call you a fabricator, to actually go as far as to take audio that you had of her crying, saying, "Please, I'm going to kill myself. Come and get your daughter right now." And you begging, "Please, Katrina, please don't do it. Please, I'm begging you. Think about the kids, please." And he said, "That is a lie, sir. You have made this audio up." This is not the best interests of children, folks. This is the best interests of, put it. Are you fearful that your daughter, I'm sorry to ask you this, Joshua.
Yeah, I live in fear every day for my daughter. Because nothing, when we had 50-50, everything was fine because my daughter was with me, 50% of the time. She was getting clothed and bathed and taken care of. No bruises, no blisters, no nothing. And it was as the less I got to see my daughter, the worse I got to see on my daughter. I mean, That's when the bruises, and I mean, we're talking multiple bruises from her feet to her arms to lesions on her back, horrific genital. That's not an allergic reaction. He goes, that's from neglect. That's from
Mom said it was an allergic reaction.
Mother tried to say it was an allergic reaction. We did an allergy test report which came out negative. She wasn't allergic to milk like the mother kept saying was.
But at this time, you were on supervised visits.
Correct.
By Rocky Crabb. He ordered you on supervised visits. And folks, we're going to touch on the supervised visits because, as all of you know that know me, this is an area near and dear to my heart because supervised visitations for parents other than rapists has gone overboard and is abusive. And it separates parents and children and destroys relationships. And there's corruption at great lengths. We're going to get into that for a minute. If you could say, well, I'm going to save that. You have in your hand something.
Yeah. This is
That's Journey's beer, but
Journey's bear. So I had this bear when I was a baby. It was my favorite bear, and my mother she held on to it so I can pass it on down to when I had a child. So her first grandchild and only grandchild is Journey. So my mother gave it to me. She said, "Give this to Journey," and it was just, this became Journey's favorite stuffed animal. So every morning she'd wake up. I mean, she'd have to sleep with her bear. She'd have to have breakfast with her bear. If Bear wasn't sitting next by her side, she'd say, "Daddy, Bear, I need Bear." "Okay, let me go get Bear." So this is Journey's bear.
if you could say something to Journey right now. What would it be, honey? What would it be?
Journey, baby, Daddy loves you very much. And I'm going to fight for you, baby. My promise to you will never be broken. I promised you when you were 3 months old, I was not going to stop fighting for you, and I'm never going to leave you, baby. And I promise you that'll never happen. So no matter what I have to do, Daddy's going to be there for you no matter what. I promise you. I love you so much, and I miss you, and I think about you every day. Your family loves you and misses you very much, and they think about you every day, too. And I'll be hanging on your bear for you, baby. Daddy will see you.
Janitzio. Okay. Your story. Oh, boy.
My story is like...
I want to ask a couple of questions,
yes, go ahead.
please. Do you remember the year that you first went before Rocky Crabb, Commissioner Rocky Crabb?
It was 2008.
2008. And come over here a little bit more. There you go. 2008, and you've been before him almost 9 years.
Almost 9 years, correct. Until the last day that I was in front of him, it was Tuesday.
Okay.
And I honestly got to tell him...
No, we're not going to talk about that yet, because I'm going to bring that up in a little bit.
Great.
Because that's an important point. Were you accused of ever raping your son?
No.
Ever beating your ex-wife?
No. There is allegations, like Joshua. There is allegations. In one of the allegations, I went to the court. I went to the hearing. They take me to custody. They take her, and they release both of us.
It was domestic violence allegations.
Domestic violence allegations. She always wanted to get me in that area all the time. She was trying so hard.
But actually, you were the one that had a bleeding skull.
Yes, that's correct.
You have a scar down your back.
Yes, in my back of my head, yes. I have a scar in my back.
Did she ever have a mark?
No, she never had a mark. She never had not even scratches in her body.
Nothing.
And not only that, but she got beat up one time for her daughter. She was married before, and her daughter beat him up so bad that she got a big bruise. And I heard him fighting, and I went to the garage, and she had it from the neck and the floor. She was shocking the girl. And I got there and I told him, what are you doing? Are you getting crazy? And she's like, no, let me kill them. And she was grabbing it really hard, and I grabbed it and I took him away. And the little child was she couldn't even breathe anymore. So, one of the things that I brought that issue because she brought the pictures in front of Rocky Crabb. Yeah. And she said, look it, this is what he did to me. And when I present to you ever had any argument with your daughter, she would change the subject. And he keep bringing it up. Do you ever, until he's like, okay, forget about this. It's like nothing happened. He didn't believe in her.
He didn't believe in her, but he never held her accountable.
Never.
Never.
Not only that, but we have several issues bringing up to the court. Another issue was when she slapped the child. And there was a
her first child or your shared child.
Yes.
Okay.
Our child. I have several police reports that she hit the child, and one of the last ones, it was when she grabbed it from the leg when he was asleep, because she threw a party, right? And the child goes to bed late, right? So it's hard to him to wake up in the morning.
Yes.
And she grabbed it from the leg in the morning really hard and threw him off the bed. And the child says that in the police report.
Were you with her at the time?
No, we were separated
you were
already. I'm
separated.
sorry for that.
That's okay.
Got to clarify. And she actually, the police talked to our child. Our child explained the situation. And when the child went back home to her house, mom got very upset of him and threatened him. If you talk, I'm going to lose my license as a nurse. And you cannot be saying anything. So the child, when the detective went to talk to him, he said that everything was a lie. And mom admitted in the police report, yes, I did throw him off the bed, but slowly. I have the police report that she threw the boy out of the bed slowly.
How did you find out about that?
Because I saw the bruise in my child. He was wearing shorts, and he told me the mom hit him so hard and that he was scared of going back to her house.
How old was he then?
He was, I would say 9, maybe 9 years old. But you see, the point here is when our child, when we got separated, he was 6. He was barely turning 6. And
did you have a good relationship?
The relationship between me and Noé, it was so close as a Joshua with his daughter.
Yes.
Okay? It was so close. I'm the one that I was feeding him at 3 in the morning, milk. I was the one that I would take him to school in the morning. I was the one to picking it up. I was the one dealing with the teachers, with the problems because he had ADHD. And even though like that, he just denied custody. Definitely. He just didn't want to give me not even 50-50 custody. I never asked for, I think in one time I asked for a full custody. But other than that, I thought about it and I'm like, I should ask for 50. And I keep asking for 50 and 50.
For 9 years?
Yes, for 9 years. He never wanted to give me a 50 and 50. I actually talked to the mediation person. Okay. And the mediation person, they got to see all the information that I had, all the police report. I have, like Joshua, incident reports, bunch of police report, pictures, everything that I brought to the mediation that she was interfering with the visitation. I got 2 hours of visitation, and she arrived 2 hours and a half late to the visitation of 2 hours. It's unbelievable. Not only that, but she wanted to turn over the child every time she feel like it, not when it was the court order.
Right.
And I brought that issue in front of the court, Rocky Crabb. I told Rocky Crabb, and he told me, well, that's something that you had to discuss with her. It's just unbelievable,
He never considered any of your evidence, correct?
Exactly, never.
None of your evidence. No. Did you fear for your child's life?
You know what? Right now, my child is big already.
No,
he's
before.
14. Oh, before, yes, I was. I especially when she would beat him, I was all the time scared. I keep filing police reports because I will say, if she's trying to do something, this might hold her from doing something to him.
Right.
Okay? So that's why I was doing all that, to keep her thinking about it twice before she hit the child or do
Right.
something to him. But right now he's 14. He's bigger than me. He's taller. One of the reasons I'm here, and the stronger reason, is because when I see a guy like Joshua, that he's a good guy, that
You
he
guys
takes
didn't know
care-
each other before.
No, we didn't know each other before.
Okay, go ahead.
But
I'm
now,
sorry.
since I see him, that he's a good guy, he's a good father, he's in a better even position than me. You know, I think that him doesn't deserve that. And like I say, you know, I honestly, my child, the way he puts up right now, he's like that. I don't understand why. I don't know this commissioner or judge, whatever he is, but I would like to tell him that he has destroyed my life. How he's going to get that time back to me, how he's going to give me my time back with you, is already gone. It's in the trash. He can do nothing about it. Nobody can do nothing about it. I want him to know that he already destroyed my life.
And what do you tell your son when he
I
tells
told
you?
him that's the way I feel, son. But you know what? From here on, we have another opportunity to keep going and to work together and to get these things done now.
Yeah.
Just for example, mom gets child care, child support. Okay, they take half of my check, no problem. Very happy I give half of my check.
Yeah.
The problem here is, what is mama doing with that?
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the issues that I see is the child, she's graduated from the school,
Right.
and I called mom and I asked him, Mom, were you willing to buy a suit? Can we work it up? So he wants to wear a suit. And she's like, you told him that you're going to buy it, you buy it. I don't care. Every single thing that he goes through it, he calls me. Sometimes he's at home, he doesn't have food. He calls me, Dad, I'm hungry. I drop my work and I go to the house to drop out $20. Mom says, I don't know how he gets money. I don't know how he eats. Because he's a good saver. And I'm there sitting there listening to her saying, you know what? He has a dad. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
He's not alone.
Yes.
And, you know, is one of the things that I am very concerned about it is that when I see Joshua, I'm thinking about all those people that go in front of Rocky Crabb. And I'm thinking, is he being fair to all those people?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't think so.
You feel that he abused you.
I think that honestly that he abuses his power so much that he doesn't care about people. Especially, I see that Hispanic community.
Yes.
I think Hispanic community, they don't speak. They stay quiet. And they think that we were just another people that will stay quiet forever.
Yep.
Right.
And one of the things that I told Joshua, you know, my time is already over. He already screwed me over. He already damaged my heart, my son's heart. He already did that. I want him to get a fair opportunity to fight her daughter and try to get that daughter with him and try to do, you know, for the judge, the judge has to be removed.
Yeah.
Another judge has to review his case because it's fair enough for him to get a fair trial. Yes.
Janitzio, when you and I
Yes.
spoke, you said, for me and my son, he has already destroyed our lives.
Yes, correct.
He has done everything to try to separate us, but we
Yes,
still
correct.
love each other.
Yes, correct.
But we can never get the time back.
No, we're not. It's
he
gone.
stole, yeah.
It's gone. That time is dead. It can come back.
And Mom, after 9 years,
Yes.
you recently wanted to. You play basketball very well. Your son loves basketball.
Oh, that's correct.
And he had a game coming up that was very
Yes.
important to him.
Yes, correct.
He was nervous. He wants to practice. You called Mom and said, hey, listen, he wants to practice. It's not my visitation time. Excuse me, but can I take him a couple of hours?
Yes, correct.
I'm good with this. Let me help our son.
Yes, correct.
And her response to you?
Was not. Just simply not. It's not your time. That's it.
I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care. Exactly. That was the answer.
Yeah. I don't care.
And it's not your time.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that I thought, right, that I was thinking is one of the things that the court should be looking
Talking to the mic.
is is looking of the best interest of the child. That's something that I have very deep inside of my heart. Okay, and the court should be an equity court. The court should be neutral court that helps both parents to get back together and think about the best interest of the child.
Right.
If the court is not, that's why the family courts, they get discretion to give orders. But it's not to destroy, it's to build up relationships with childs and with parents. That's what I know.
What Janitzio's expressing is that's just like you said before. We're on a mission to remove Commissioner Rocky Crabb, and we're not on a mission for fathers' rights. We're not here for fathers' rights. We're not here for mothers' rights. We're here for parents' rights.
Right.
Every parent deserves a fair trial, and every child deserves both parents. Simple as that. I mean, these parents, they don't understand that when they're type, they're using their children as pawns, and they don't realize the psychological damage they're causing to their child and to the parent. It doesn't matter if you hate your ex. It doesn't matter what your ex did to you. What did your ex do to the child? If your ex did nothing to the child but nurture and care for them, why would you keep them away from that person?
Right.
Why would you put your child through that torment? Both of us, both of our children, every time we would see our children and we had to give up that time with our child, as we would leave, our child would cry for us. His son would be at the window with his hand to the glass,
correct,
begging, "Daddy, please don't go." My daughter, since she was 6 months old, would cling to me like a cat dipped in water, crying and begging and just crying, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, don't, no, Daddy, Daddy."
You even have, I've seen video where Journey says, "Please, please, Daddy."
And she doesn't want to leave, and so I have to just look at her.
And one time she actually disclosed something in the video, right?
Yeah.
In their car seat.
It was actually the day after the black eye, when she came home to me with the black eye. The very next day, when it was time to give her back to her mother, I'm in the car. We just got back from the zoo, and I said, "Okay, baby, we got to go upstairs and change your diaper real quick. We got to go see Mommy." She said, "No, Mommy's house scary. Mommy's house scary." And I was like, "What?" I thought, you know what, let me put this on my phone in case she, I don't know what she's talking about. So I pull the phone out and I go, "No, baby, Mommy's house is not scary. Why is Mommy's house scary?" She just kept saying, "Mommy's house scary." I said, "Why, baby? Why is Mommy's house scary?" She clearly answered, "Mommy's sick."
Yeah. I heard that. I saw it. It's actually on video.
Yeah, it's on video, and that was the day
I mean,
after
she's a little girl. There's no coaching a 2-year-old.
Let me explain.
Go ahead.
Let me tell you.
Thank you for joining us once again, folks, with the National Safe Child Show. We have 2 gentlemen here, Joshua and Janitzio, and we are speaking about a Pomona, California court commissioner. His name is Rocky Crabb. These gentlemen, along with several other people, we have 50 different sets of parents now, or 50 different parents, that are saying, "This man has stolen my child from me, has stopped me from having the ability to maintain my ability to parent my child, has broken the bond and stolen our years together." Janitzio's years have been 9 years. He's been before Commissioner Crabb, and it's just, he has come to accept. Gentlemen, you just told us about, Joshua, you just told us about your video. Janitzio, you were telling us about, you were just getting ready to explain to us about, you've seen your son at the window many times, because Mom says and has said to you many times, "I don't care."
Exactly.
Please, you've begged her. Please don't watch him do this. Don't let our son do this. He's suffering.
Exactly. That was my words towards her. And one of the things that I was trying to explain you is when our child went to the window because Mom didn't allow the visitation, Mom would have laughed at me. She would have looked at me sarcastically and look at me like I win the battle. You know what I mean? Like like it was a battle, between me and her.
Right.
And that was one of the things that it really, really hurt me, because seeing the child there, seeing that she was inside, just looking at me, not looking at the child, that's what is painful. That's the most pain that a parent can get.
So you think that this was more about you than about the child when it came to your particular case, Janitzio?
No, when it came to my particular case, I think if it was about me, I would have acted different, I think.
No, I mean, you think that mom made her fight against you?
Oh, yes, correct. That's correct.
That's correct.
Yes. She didn't, actually, she didn't take at all consideration about the best interest of the child. She was just upset because I left. And why I left, we just couldn't get along. You know, if you have somebody with you and you don't get along and you're having problems, so much problems with that person, you should walk away. You should walk away, because there is nothing good in that relationship.
Yes.
And is mature enough for us as a parents to think about the best interest of the child. Yes, correct.
You are in a new relationship that is just lovely.
Yes, correct.
And you're very happy.
Yes, correct.
And your girlfriend for many years now.
Yes, correct.
She's an attorney, folks.
Yes.
And she went in and represented you, didn't she?
Yes, she actually, I was in the case already when I met her.
Right.
And it was, I didn't know that she was an attorney for family law.
Right.
I met her and we came to be very close.
Yeah.
And when she knew about my case, she told me, I can help you with your case. You know, I'm an attorney.
And and I've spoken with her.
Yes.
And she sounds like a wonderful attorney, folks. She's very knowledgeable. And I actually already have a case for her, by the way, that I'd like to refer.
Thank you very much.
I haven't shared that yet. But, however, she went into the courtroom, and she's kind of a peacekeeper.
Yes.
When she spoke with me, folks, she said, you know, I'm great at settling matters, you know, even when it is high contentious. She went in, and she wanted to just speak with the opposing counsel and...
Yes.
Let's just settle this. Let's find a happy place where everybody can be happy, but more importantly, where the child can be happy.
Yes, I can.
But she was not greeted very nicely.
No.
Not by opposing counsel, and more so, not by Rocky Crabb.
Exactly.
How long did she represent you?
I think she represented me for a year.
For a year.
For a couple hearings, but Rocky Crabb, you know, one of the things that Rocky Crabb did, he take it too personal. My case, he take it so personal that he wouldn't let him speak. Because mom, Sandra, which is the mother of my son, she put the case like she was sleeping with me, and that I got next to her because of my case. And Rocky Crabb didn't appreciate that.
Okay.
And that was not the case, though.
Okay.
And Rocky Crabb got very upset at her, and he actually, from there, every attorney that I took in front of Rocky Crabb, he would shut their mouth down. He wouldn't let them speak.
He didn't really let her speak either, though.
No, he wouldn't let him speak either.
Lorena told me, personally, that she has never experienced anything like this situation. She's an attorney. She has a bar number. She goes before a multitude of different courts, and she argues with the law. But in this case, folks, every time that she objected, every time that she tried to speak, explain to the court, she was shut down, just shut down. And she finally went to her boyfriend and said, I'm doing you more harm than good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just made a statement, Janitzio. You said he's taking your case very personally.
Yes.
Joshua, you made the same statement a year ago.
Oh, absolutely.
This is very personal. What I think is he is very emotionally driven, emotionally distraught, and all cases are very personal to him, which is problematic for a court, especially a court that has the most serious situation before them, the lives of children. And your girlfriend finally said, this wonderful attorney finally says, my love, I've got to get off of your case. I'm hurting the case. I want you to normalize your situation with your son, and I think that maybe I'm standing in the way.
Yes.
Maybe because your wife is jealous, Rocky Crabb doesn't like the way I'm walking, whatever.
Yes.
She tells the judge, Your Honor, I'm going to sub out. And Commissioner Rocky, not the judge, I'm sorry, the commissioner. Commissioner Rocky Crabb's response is, that's a good idea, because if you didn't sub out, I was going to make sure that I got you out.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She could not believe it. She's never, she said, in all of her years, heard anything like that. It was more than disturbing to her. And this family, you and your girl, you're still in shock.
Yes.
You still don't understand. Recently, gentlemen, you have been wearing this shirt to the courthouse.
Every week.
Every week.
2 to 3 times a week we're up there.
Yes.
You've walked in to Rocky Crabb's courtroom
Absolutely.
with these shirts.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's
Because you said, enough is enough.
correct. Yes.
This isn't about me. It's not about you. It's not about the mothers. This is about our children.
Mhm.
That are being denied our children for nothing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And our children have remained in danger.
Yes. Correct.
And he is the only one that can help us. And all he's done is helped to sever our relationships,
Yes.
destroy our lives, and steal the years with our child.
Yep.
The other day, you two walked in, right?
Yes.
That's correct.
And you've walked in before.
Yeah, we walked in before.
And what do you do when you walk in, typically?
Well, I mean, that was only our second day going into the courtroom. And
Okay.
we're not there to cause a disturbance or anything. We're literally there to observe. We want to see how
You're doing court watching.
Exactly. We're
Yes,
court watching.
correct.
We're just sitting there peacefully wanting to see his demeanor towards other people to see if
Okay.
it's just us or if he
Okay.
does this with everyone.
Right.
So far, all the evidence is showing it's everyone. And so...
Well, it's one person in every case.
Yes, exactly. One person in every case.
Okay.
He always picks a favorite. He always picks a side, and then
Okay.
he becomes defense attorney for that person. So, about a week prior, I went in there and I had a legal friend there, and I said, "Let's pretend like we don't know each other. You go into
Okay.
the courtroom. I'll wait 10 minutes while you're in there, and then I'll go in." So that's exactly what we did. And I said, "But I want you to watch something." I said, "Watch how I walk in." And I guarantee you his bailiff is going to check my phone to make sure it's powered off. And I guarantee you I'll be the only one she checks. So sure enough, I walk in. About 15 minutes into the cases, she comes up to me. She said, "Good morning." I said, "Good morning." She goes, "Can I see your phone?" I said, "Absolutely. It's already turned off. I know the rules." She said, "Okay. And is that your laptop with you?" And I go, "Yes." And she goes, "Can you pull it out for me?" And I'm like, okay. So I pull out the laptop. She makes me power it down in front of her. My legal friend is on the other side of the room just watching, and he can't believe that I predicted exactly what was going to happen.
Right.
And then sure enough, we leave, and he said, "You were right. You were the only one she approached to not only power off your phone, but also your laptop." And he said, and not only that, I noticed Crabb's demeanor. Before you walked in, he was giving like one-sentence judgments and just kind of rushing through things. But as soon as you walked in, he was crossing his T's, dotting his I's.
Right.
He was quoting different codes. He was spending 10 minutes on judgments instead of just like a minute.
Okay, but you two walk in on the second day.
So on the
You're never saying anything. You're not disturbing. You're showing the bailiff the phone. And by the way, folks, the bailiff is corrupt and
correct.
tried to intimidate me when I opened up my laptop in a court, and I open it up all the time in the courts and have never had a problem. She literally made me shut it down, and it was so bad that she started cleaning her taser gun, watching me as if I'm going to get you. It was really scary, folks. This is a scary courtroom. You know, this is like some little village place where anything can happen, and,
Oh, yeah.
and the world won't know about it.
Exactly.
You two walk in.
So, yeah, we walked into the court.
How was Rocky Crabb when you walked in?
Well, as soon as we walked in, I mean, the court got quiet. I mean, they're in the middle of a case, a trial, and we walk in, all eyes are kind of on us for a second, but we just go to the side, not making any disturbances. Our phones are already off.
Okay.
I even said, Janitzio, make sure your phone's off because we're going to get checked. So, sure enough,
okay.
The bailiff, right away, the bailiff gives us dirty
Everybody
looks.
comes in, zones in on
exactly.
you.
They zone in on us. Crab gives us dirty looks. The clerk, the bailiff, everybody's just giving us dirty looks right away.
But tell me what happened.
Well, the bailiff goes straight to her phone. Okay. She makes a phone call, turns her back towards us. We're sitting right next to her desk. She turns her back towards us, makes a phone call. Within 2 minutes of that phone call, in comes a deputy from the doorway. And I'm like, oh, great, we're going to get arrested or something. So we're just sitting there, and then she says, I need to see your phones. And I said, don't worry, we know the drill. Our phone's already off. We pull out our phone. We show that they're off. And she said, you need to take your phones outside. And we say, why? What did we do? And she goes, you can't have your phones in here. You need to keep your phones outside. I'm like, but their phones are off. And that's when Janitzio said, ma'am, you're harassing us. This is harassment, and you are harassing us. And that's when she kind of just stepped back, and she said, you know what? You both need to go outside. I'm going to talk to you outside. So she escorts us with the deputy outside. The bailiff turns around, even though she tells us she's going to speak with us. She turns back around, goes back into the courtroom. That's when we're addressed by the deputy, who said, you need to turn your phones off before you go back in there. And we're saying our phones were off. Why are we escorted out here? Why are you questioning us when our phones are already off? He goes, well, I'm just saying you need to turn your phones off.
So it could be implied that he was told incorrect information. These two guys won't shut their phones off. They're giving us a hard time. But that wasn't the case. You showed him the phone.
Exactly.
He said, okay. He actually escorted you back in. He said, I don't have any problem.
And you can see the video online at our website, removerockycrabb.com.
Okay.
But so we go back in there, and that's when Crabb, and I call it Crabb flipped out, because that's exactly what happened. As soon as we walked in the courtroom, and he's already got another case going on. He's in the middle of a trial.
Rocky Crabb got rocky.
Rocky, yes, he got extremely rocky. He just
and crabby.
He jumped up and was like, no, this is not happening right now. Shannon is the bailiff's name.
Okay.
So he goes, we're gonna adjourn for a brief recess. I want to clear this entire courtroom, and he points at us and says, except you two gentlemen.
So I want to clear out the courtroom. Everybody gets up there,
yes,
because he's quite intimidating. He's red-faced.
That courthouse cleared real quick.
Right, and everybody stands up, including you guys, to walk out, and he says, stop. You two gentlemen, not gentlemen, Hispanic thugs,
basically.
Right? In his mind, he was saying that.
Yeah.
You stay here.
Exactly.
Right?
So he cleared the entire courtroom. Now,
wait a minute. I want to stop you for a minute. Is that the first time that he's ever cleared a courtroom that you're aware of in your presence?
No, he did that with my sister when she came to testify as well.
Folks, I want to tell you something, and Judicial Council, please take note of this. Your sister, who is a little angel, who I've met and adore, soft-spoken, sweetheart, missing her niece, has flown in how many times, Joshua?
At least 3 or 4.
3 or 4 times. They live in Texas. Joshua is a Texan. They live in Texas, flown in 3 or 4 times. Guess what? Every time that she flies in, and the court is apprised of it, Rocky Crabb takes breaks, just like when I went to testify, takes breaks, takes his time, hears everybody else, and then says, we don't have enough time. Your Honor, please, she just flew in from Texas. My family can't afford this back and forth, and nothing gets done. That's not my problem. 3 or 4 times. When he finally allowed her to speak, he clears the courtroom out, and everybody gets up, as this time, and he says, you, young lady, sit down. She's a little peewee of a thing. Joshua's small. She's a little petite, 95 pounds. She really is.
Yeah.
And he says, sit down. The commissioner cleared the courtroom out and made this young lady sit in the courtroom. She was petrified for 15 or 20 minutes by herself and didn't know what was going on. And Joshua had to leave the courtroom with his sister inside and didn't know what was going on and was fearing for her life. He has also taken, you've walked in where he said, give me your phone and your laptop.
Yes, he's confiscated my phone and laptop before.
For any reason?
Yeah, for no reason at all.
Just taking it because he can. Because why? He's the commissioner, and he's playing God in a courtroom that belongs to the American people, folks.
Exactly, yes. Yes, he plays
This
God.
is not his courtroom. He is an employee.
Yes.
This is our courtroom.
Exactly.
Yes.
This is made for us, and it is an insult to everybody in America. If we allow this type of conduct to continue, it must be stopped for the sake of justice.
Mm-hmm.
He took your phone and he took your laptop for the entire day.
And he took my daughter.
And he took your daughter. He's taken your life.
Yeah.
You both walked in there. Janitzio, I want you to tell me what happened after you two walked in.
Well, after we walked
After
in,
he cleared out the courtroom,
Yeah,
you two stand up, and we only have less than 5 minutes left. Go ahead.
Well, actually, I got the opportunity of my life to tell him exactly what I was thinking.
He asked Joshua first, what
Yes.
is on your shirt? What
Yeah.
are you wearing, sir, for clothing? Right?
Yeah.
What are you
Yes.
wearing for clothing?
He made us describe the shirts. He interrogated us about the shirts.
And all this time was the stenographer
Yes,
typing?
stenographer. And here's the thing is that I emailed the stenographer that same day. I said, I need a transcript immediately regarding this. And I said, and by the way, what is the court case number going to be on this, since we didn't have an actual case?
Well, wait a minute. Let's tell the audience first, because they
Okay.
don't know what you're speaking about. And then
Okay.
tell us that again. But we've got about 4 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. Well, actually,
They asked Joshua, what are you wearing?
Yeah.
He said, I'm wearing a shirt. What's on your shirt? Well, it's a picture of you,
What's
Your
the
Honor.
purpose? Why are you wearing the shirt? And that's when
And he
Janitzio-
said no purpose. Joshua was very
I
short
just
with
said
his
I
words.
refused to answer. I'm
But
remaining silent.
Janitzio, after 9 years of hell,
yes.
excuse my language, but
Yes.
hell
Yes.
that
that's-
you have been through, you found your voice
Yes.
and your moment.
Yes, correct.
And
Well,
tell me,
Actually, he wanted to know what the shirt means, so I just told him.
what does it mean
This
to you?
represents a father with a lot of pain in the heart. That's what it means. And it means a son with a lot of pain in his heart also. Just because you take a decision, because you wanted to take that decision, not because of the evidence. I present enough evidence for you to at least to consider in 730 evaluation. I recommend, actually,
You requested.
I requested the 730 evaluation, the mediation. They say that the 730 evaluation, it was appropriate in that moment.
They recommended
They
that.
recommended, and Rocky Crabb denied. He said no, it's not going to happen. And I got the opportunity to tell him. I honestly, I was very. My voice, it was loud that day. It was loud.
It was the first.
I was
Joshua told me
screaming at him.
later
Yes.
he was very shocked because you're very meek.
I always, in all the court hearings that I had, I was very respectful to him. Very respectful.
And okay, and you yelled at him. You
Yes.
said, "Sir, this is
Yes.
my moment, and I'm going to
Yes.
tell you why
Yes.
I'm wearing this shirt.
And he said,
I'm wearing
this
it for my son.
Yes.
I'm wearing
Correct.
it for us. I'm
Yes.
wearing it for all the
Yes.
bad that you've done.
Yes, correct.
And I'm wearing it because I want justice, and I
Yes.
don't want you to be able to do this.
Yes.
9 years
Yes,
stolen
correct.
from me and my child for nothing,
And
for lies.
And I told them that we were a couple parents, and we were not going to stop until he was out of the bench.
We want you off of the bench.
Yes,
and if you
correct.
don't know what the shirt means,
Yes.
sir, learn how to read
Yes.
because it
Yep.
says remove
Yes,
Rocky
that's
Crabb.
exactly what
That's
I told
pretty
them.
much self-explanatory.
Yes.
And after that, he had a piece of paper, didn't he, gentlemen?
Yes.
He said, this is a restraining order. We are now slapping on you, and you are prohibited from ever wearing those shirts in this courthouse again.
You are prohibited from wearing clothing that you choose to wear in the United States of America, folks. This has gone too far. Rocky Crabb, Commissioner, forgive me for my rudeness, but, sir, you have gone too far. And you found out, you've sent me this paperwork, and it doesn't look like a restraining order. It doesn't have your names on it.
Never names, not official.
But he scared you both, didn't he?
Yes.
No, he tried to.
He
That's-
tried.
Yeah, he tried. But at this point, you're fighting for your children.
Oh, yeah.
And
No,
you're
we're not
doing
stopping.
nothing wrong, and you're not being illegal, and you can wear what you want in the country of freedom.
Yes, correct.
And that is the stand that you're finally taking.
And what I tell people, when I tell people our testimony, they look at me as if I'm a criminal. They're like, okay, well, obviously you got a criminal background. You did something wrong. What did you do? And I'm like, no, I'm a banker with no criminal background, no mental history, paid up on child support, college education, and yet I haven't been allowed to see my own daughter in almost a year.
And you have a woman with audio and
Oh,
transcripts
she's
of
got 20
lies.
referrals from CPS. She's got about 15 police reports on her, including battery, domestic violence, child abuse, and neglect.
But not just with you, with her former husband,
Exactly.
who Rocky Crabb handled the case, was on the bench, and never disclosed it, and with the same allegations and the same fear from another man that you never knew about until we put our heads together and you went and got that transcript and then everything found out. Folks, listen, we are going to post more about this. This story is not over. There's a lot more to tell.
Yeah.
A lot of these transcripts, a lot of excerpts, you're going to see firsthand what Rocky Crabb, Commissioner of Pomona, California, is really doing. Gentlemen, Janitzio,
Yes.
one message to your son before we leave. We've got to wrap up.
Son, just hang on in there. You know, we'll get through this. I will never leave you alone. I promise you, since you were 6, I'm still promising to you, I will never leave you down. I love you, and I'm always here for you. You know, you just gotta lift the phone and call me. You got my support. Thank you. I love you, mijo. That's it.
I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
That's the corrupt system that we have.
Yeah.
Folks, we must put a stop to this. Please take a stand. June 27th, a protest. We're going to post everything. Go to www.removerockycrabb.com. Come to National Safe Child Facebook page. I'm going to post everything on there. Health Impact News, thank you. UBN Radio, we love you. And thank you for continuing to cover these issues. We need help, folks, not us, the children.
Yes.
I love you. See you next week. UBN Radio, National Safe Child Show, 2 p.m., Channel 2. Don't miss out. Take care.
Thank you, people.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the National Safe Child Show on UBN Radio. For past episodes, visit the archives on ubnradio.com. And for more information, go to nationalsafechildcoalition.com. The views and opinions expressed in these radio programs are those of the individual hosts and do not reflect the official policy or position of Universal